Good morning everyone. What we're going to do this morning is continue with our income and profit statements, but we're going to look at it from the point of view of interpreting and analysing the statements as opposed to last week when we just completed them and learned about the terms in a profit and income statement. Right, businesses prepare income and profit statements for lots of reasons, and the obvious one is to work out whether it's made a profit or loss. However, businesses also will use these statements in order to make decisions. For example, if the profit's falling, they might look at the costs or the expenses and make decisions to cut them. For example, if wages are too high, they might decide to make staff redundant or ban overtime, or come up with other ways in order to reduce their costs in order to make that profit rise again. It's also used to calculate gross profit, total expenses, and all these figures and information can be used by businesses in order to help them make decisions to make the business better in the future. Now, what we've got here in task 1 is the sample income statement from last week. Now, what I'm asking you to do is something that you would be normally asked to do in an exam, and this type of question, although it's really easy to pick up the marks, is never well done, because after a wee bit of time, pupils just forget what is on the income statement and they can't figure out what the letters are. So it's really straightforward just now, but it's something that you need to understand why the information's there, so what the letters represent, that's what it's testing. So what I would like you to try and do is do this from memory of the questions you did last week. So what you're going to do is you're going to just identify the letters in the income statement, what they would represent, so replace the letter with a figure or a word or a phrase. Okay, so if you go ahead and try that and send it to your teacher when you're finished. And there's a wee question underneath about give us 2 reasons why a business would prepare an income or profit statement, and you'll find that earlier on in the lesson or in your notes. Now, task 2 is the income statement that you prepared as part of your exercises last week. So it's the one about the yoga studio. So if you have to go back and get that task, check over your answers with the ones that I've got here, and obviously what I've done is I've replaced some of the information with letters again, and what I want you to do is either identify what the letter represents, whether it represents a word or a phrase or a number, and that's all you have to do is write that. Okay? Task 3 is the second income statement that you completed last week, so again, hope you've got that beside you. And you are going to just check your answers against mine, make sure that you've got the correct figures, and then again identify what the letters mean on, well, what they would be on the income statement, whether it's a word, a phrase or a number, and just write that as your answer. And I would like you to send all of these tasks to your teacher when you've finished this morning during the lesson. For task 4, the first question, I would like you to create some flashcards. If you don't have actual flashcards, just fold up paper, and if it was an A4 size sheet of paper, then make that 4. Write the term on one side, for example, sales revenue, and then go back to last week's lesson and write what the definition of that term is. Again, that is to reinforce, because if in an assessment you were asked to define these terms, it's either right or wrong, so it's really important that you memorise them. Then I would like you to just complete the next 2 tasks, which are questions about profit statements, and send your answers to your teacher. Task 5 this morning is the end of part 1 of our lesson, and what we're going to look at is Debenhams and what has happened to Debenhams. And I know that it's been in the news that Debenhams has collapsed as a result of the COVID pandemic. However, there are other reasons why Debenhams has not survived at the moment. So what we're going to do is write a short report. I want each of these bullet points, I want at least a paragraph. So we're going to, I would like you to look at the link for the BBC News to start with, just to give you some background, but you'll probably have to go into Debenhams' website and maybe get some background, how long it's been there, what sort of products it sells, etc. Write a short paragraph about that. Then I want you to write a short paragraph why you what you've found out is why Debenhams collapsed, and you can just Google that as well as looking at the BBC link. What I would like to do in the next paragraph, you won't necessarily find those answers anywhere in particular, is I want you to think of the impact on the competitors. Who are Debenhams competitors, and how are they benefiting, or are some of them losing as well as a result of Debenhams collapse? And then I want you to suggest some actions, again a short paragraph, at least 2 things that Debenhams could have done and what might have avoided them being in the situation they find themselves in. And when you're finished that, you send that to your teacher. Okay, thank you. So by the end of this lesson, you should be able to outline, that's give a brief description of why businesses use income and profit statements. You should be able to look at a profit statement and understand what it's telling you, that's interpretation. Suggest solutions if profit's falling, of what a business might do in order to improve its profit situation. And explain the impact on businesses if they make poor financial decisions. And I'm sort of going back to the wee report that you wrote in the last task there. That might give you some ideas of what you should know there and what can be the outcome for a business if they don't make the right decisions at the right time. Okay.